This is Paul. Yes. Now, I'm confused because I've emailed those that are liable. Yes. Uh, medical examinations, there was no injury. Yes. I haven't actually been able to embrace or talk to my sons for 7.5 years. You've arrested me for the allegation of domestic violence multiple times, while at the same time, yes, I've been informing you that it violates the laws of the state of Washington to issue court orders where the rights of the parent are not protected. Now, there was no injury on my sons, and there was no injury to my wife. We had a little argument. Yes, I did 7 hours of parenting classes. Now, this emotional consequence of the abuse, do you think that my sons were? Why don't you give me your underwear? The actual fabric that is used to manufacture it. There could be some sort of detergents, HE, help. Now, I've known of certain fabrics that retain broadband, yes, sonar frequencies, SAR. Oh, I was just looking at somebody that had a cochlear implant installed. Yes, but when it goes through the brain so that you can hear better and you can adjust the antenna, yes, to increase or decrease the amount of, well, the watts per kilogram, yes. With the right type of detergent when washing your underwear, you could probably get all that SAR on your genitals so that you could use those sexual nerve endings. When I first got to my grandmother's house, I was concerned that somebody had been manufacturing some laundry detergent. Yes. That when washing clothes, it has the effect of sealing the actual fabrics so that they retain any Wi-Fi or any other technology right now. Now, it is recommended that domestic disturbance calls be answered with at least two officers. Now, this phone call that was made in May of 2012, yes, where I had contacted Healthy Families of Clallam County. I think it was on the 4th of May, about 20. I think it might have been the 24th because I was arrested on the 27th. Could you get me the recorded call from PENCOM right now? Now, there should have been a phone call that informed law enforcement that were suspected domestic violence. Yes, because I'm going to need all the recorded calls of 911, and I need to know if that phone call was to a personal phone of any person in the police or sheriff's departments. Yes. So why don't we get all the reports of every and all of the domestic violence and child abuse throughout the nation? Yes. For the last 20 years. See, when I was arrested, right, it was Sunday night at 7 p.m. I was served the dissolution of marriage at the same time as the arrest. Yes. Put me in handcuffs. It was my second time going to jail. And took me over to the Port Angeles Police Department. They kind of talked to me a little bit about, well, what's this about? And somebody has alleged that you committed domestic violence. I was like, no, I didn't. I did call Healthy Families of Clallam County to find out if they got the documentation from Guam that I had completed the 7 hours of parenting classes. But when you call the Domestic Violence Advocacy Charity and you ask them the question, right, did you get the documentation of the diversion, right? Or I did 7 hours of parenting, my record's going to be expunged at the end of the probation of 1 year. Yes. Well, they decided to call the police on me after my wife had filed for dissolution of marriage, after I'd called them 20 days before, where I found out the law says that if you have any information of child abuse or domestic violence, you're obligated to do it right now. Well, somebody really set me up, and it was really in bad faith. And I thought, well, when I got to jail, the payphone didn't work. Yes, because it called the public defenders on that phone. Yeah. Could you get me all the payphones in every jail of the United States? I'd like to know why it is that when somebody's gonna, well, doesn't really want to be interviewed or questioned because there's non-existent threat of trying to contact the third party, but through a domestic violence advocacy. um, those calls should be recorded. Now, I know you have a payphone that doesn't work. I get arrested. You inform me of the allegation of domestic violence. I'm like, no, I didn't. I never tried to contact the petitioner or the minor's names. Officer, it seems very questionable that payphones do or don't work, and they happen to be the phones of those that can call the toll-free number of the public defender's office where I had the legal right to have somebody represent me. Yes, before answering any questions, and you may have the right to remain silent. Now, I want to know exactly who called the police about this incident in Sequim, Washington. Yes, there should be a recorded phone call at approximately 7:30 in the morning on December 31st of 2015, unless the petitioner that didn't acknowledge the actual protection order, yeah, walked into the police department and informed them, could you get me every phone call to the police department right now? See, there should be a phone call. Usually, this is how people report domestic violence or child abuse. Yes, they call the police department. They say, well, I'm a victim of domestic violence and I need to file a police report. But you can see how this traffic violation is not an actual domestic violence reporting form. Yes, usually they have pictures of injuries or some sort of written documentation from the individual. They might even include the recorded telephone call of the trauma and well, the drama, really, the emotional release of an individual that's been victimized. Now, it happened twice that day, and that caused me a great amount of concern as a father. Yes, because you didn't go get me on December 31st. You waited until the 4th of January of 2016 as if, well, we'll just leave him out there and let him beat the shit out of her for the rest of the week. Why don't you get me the recorded telephone call of this incident where I wasn't in Sequim, Washington? Yes. You say it's not a false police report. I just want to know, did the petitioner call you, the alleged victim? Yes. Or did she walk over to the police department right now? See, on that morning, I was on the bus and I documented this. Yes, I had slept at the homeless shelter known as the Serenity House. Now, when there's a second incident, did she call on the phone at 4:48 p.m. on December 31st of 2015? Now, I think, okay, there's usually, if it's real child abuse and domestic violence, a telephone is used. Most of those that are alleged victims don't walk to the police station to report the thing. So could you get me the video camera surveillance footage of 12/31 of 2015 at 7:47 hours in the Port Angeles, no, the Sequim Police Department right now. And then 4:48. See, I don't take seriously the traffic citation when you decide to wait 5 fucking days to have me arrested right now. Just give me the actual surveillance camera footage and then the telephone calls at that day and time. Because when I tell you that it's a false police report, it is. It is a false police report. Those that actually do suffer real domestic violence, yes, they don't fuck around with walking to the police station. They pick up the phone and they call 911